Stewart.
And I'm Steve Phillips. Beginning this week, All That Emotion can be heard on a CD that was probably put together faster than any other album in recent country music history. It was just 5 months ago Nashville said goodbye to Tammy Wynette. Since then, several of her fellow artists and biggest fans went into studios all over the world to record Tammy Wynette Remembered. Our Stormy Warren was the only reporter allowed in many of those recording sessions. Here's his story. You know, usually when you hear someone yell 4 on a golf course, you look up in the air expecting to see a ball.
Right, but when you're attending Diamond Rio's charity golf tournament, you'll more than likely see one of the guys dropping in on the game. And I do mean dropping. Terry Bumgarner explained.
Well, there was another group of stars raising money for charity this week. They did it behind a mic instead of over a golf ball, though. The fans who forked over the bucks were treated to some great entertainment. But I am a witness, not all of it was musical.
If the world had front porch like we did back then.
The country stars were out and unplugged in Nashville. Skip Ewing gathered some of his friends to raise money for Habitat for Humanity, including some who rarely go unplugged.
But will I ever get you out of my dream?
It was great, man. There was just a real relaxed, friendly atmosphere, and it's really fun. I don't do these kind of things very often, you know.
Perhaps he should. Trace and the rest not only sang, they did some pretty good comedy, too. Most of it at the expense of one of the Wilkinsons, 14-year-old Tyler, after older sister Amanda mentioned Tyler's voice cracked while he was going through puberty.
I was feeling funny when I woke up in the morning. I didn't know why till they put a mic in front of me, and then,
Puberty.
Yeah, puberty.
Puberty. No, really, seriously, how many girlfriends you got?
None, that's right.
Nine.
None. N-O-N-E. Yeah.
Because of that puberty thing.
I think Tracy's stalling.
Tyler Wilkinson doesn't know it, but his life is about to change.
No, I didn't know I was going to be picking on Tyler tonight, but hey, I get it from these guys all the time, so
yeah.
I guess.
Well, he dishes it out too.
So yeah, I do. So I get.
He got it
I
back
learned
in
how
spades.
I learned how to take it.
He was a good sport, and now I didn't start that. His sister started picking on him, and brought up the puberty issue, and you know, I couldn't help it then, you know, but bless his heart.
I'm afraid to say the word. I don't think I've ever been in love.
But Tyler wasn't the only one being teased. Trace had a few words for Skip Ewing's bike ride across America this summer.
Could have just called. I'd have come picked you up somewhere. Didn't know you was having to ride your bicycle back home.
Now, Trace may have a future in comedy, don't you think?
He's a funny guy, but I don't think Tyler Wilkinson's going to pay to see him.
No, I don't think so. All the money raised that night will help build a Habitat house here in Nashville later this month.
Here we go!
So hold on. Hello and welcome to the only place where you can get a whole week's worth of country music in 1 hour. I'm Lisa Stewart.
And I'm Steve Phillips. The 32nd Annual CMA Awards may be history, but it is still the talk of the town here in Nashville. Among this year's winners were a favorite cowboy, a Music City couple, 2 absent friends, and a flock of chicks. Our Lisa Young takes us on stage and backstage for all the action. Well, now, if you're wondering how Steve Warner got his hands on 3 trophies when he won only 2 categories, well, he picked up 2 awards for Single of the Year because he was both the producer and the performer.
And we'll move on from there.
Now, Bill Raines had an interesting story to tell about that sculpture. He said that whenever he works on a statue, he lines the walls of his studio with images and he plays the artist's music. Well, one night, Bill turned off the CD player and the lights and went to bed. Early the next morning, he was awakened by music coming from his studio. The CD was playing Hank's song, Calling You. It continued through the 5th cut, which was I Want to Live and Love Always. And then, just as mysteriously as it began, the CD player stopped. Well, the guys of Ricochet are in the studio working on their 3rd album, but this time there's something missing. Actually, someone.
That's right. The band has had to say goodbye to one of its founding members. Drummer Jeff Bryant has left the group. Lisa Young talked with Jeff about his heart-wrenching decision.
So join upside down. We're gonna beat it like a drum.
years, Jeff Bryant has kept the beat, most of those years with his buddies in Ricochet. But now, after much soul-searching, Jeff is laying down his drumsticks to deal with a growing health problem.
Well, I do, because he owes me money, so I want to make sure that the band stays on the road and continues their success.
Well, Jeff's doctors say he will have to undergo surgery soon to correct the problems caused by carpal tunnel syndrome.
Ricochet is on the road, but they did send us this statement. We were really bummed that Jeff had to leave. He left some really big shoes to fill, but we think Tim Tuning is the man to do it. We're excited to be back in the studio working on the album that should be finished by the end of the year. We're very proud to welcome Tim into the Ricochet family.
Now, Tim has played for folks like John Michael Montgomery and Kathy Mattea. Well, Shep Woolley's family is asking fans for their prayers. A press release describes the singer responsible for the song Flying Purple People Eater as being in very fragile health. For the past 3 years, Shep's been battling leukemia. For the past 3 weeks, pneumonia. The 78-year-old also has a bronchial infection and a blood clot in his leg. In addition to his music, Shep has also made appearances in over 80 films, including Giant and The Outlaw Josie Wales.
Well, that's great news for Clay's fans, and here's some more.
That's right. Next Saturday, we'll talk to Clay about his brand new album, his new daughter, and turning the big 3-0.
Up next.
Well, pop fans from the early 80s may recognize the song Brooks and Dunn are belting out in their latest music video. It's a remake of John Waite's classic Missing You.
But there's a little something missing when it comes to the chorus. See if you can catch what it is.
I ain't missing you.
Well, Vince Gill is mixing up his music a bit too. Next week, he's scheduled to shoot a video with Barbra Streisand. The two recorded a duet earlier this year at her request. The song will show up on Barbara's album, which is expected in stores this fall. Mark Chestnut recently shot a new video, and the location sort of gave him the creeps.
The problem was he'd just seen the movie The Blair Witch Project, and what scared him was that his video was shot near Tennessee's own Bell Witch Cave. Woo! As legend has it, the Bell family was haunted by the ghost of a mistress who had been locked inside the cave and left to starve to death.
Make people hear me, please. If not, well, I won't sing in your movies again.
Well, if Mark sounds adamant, that's because he is. A few years ago, he cut a song for the movie 8 Seconds.
And that's about how long it actually wasn't in there that long, was it? When he saw the film, Mark says his song was barely audible in one small scene.
Coming up.
Well, Buck's party also marked the first reunion in 30 years of his original 1960s Buckaroo Band. And don't think that just because he's turned 70, Buck's slowing down. He says he still plans on hitting the road, but only for shows that sound like fun. Well, it's time now to check on an accomplishment Buck has enjoyed himself 21 times.
That's right. This is the place where we tell you who has the #1 song on the Billboard Country Singles Chart. If you've been following the past 5 weeks, you know that Lone Star's been the king of the hill.
That's right. Let's see if they can make it an incredible 6 weeks.
Ready, 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 ready to run.
Well, Faith Hill only has a few days left before you can find her on newsstands, at least her picture. Faith will be featured in Allure magazine. She joins other performers in a fashion spread about rock and roll makeup. The September issue of Allure shows up in stores next week.
I wish I'd have met my wife when I was 2.
I bet he got some serious brownie points for that answer.
I think you're right.
By the way, it's been a while since Tim has released a live performance-based music video.
His last one was for I Like It, I Love It from way back in 1995.
Up next.
Wow, that's quite an honor. Mike was a star at Penn State in 1968 and 1969.
Yeah, he even helped his team win the Orange Bowl in '69. Well, from football to love songs. You know, we were going to come up with some smooth transition line, but it just seemed too easy. So we decided to just tackle the topic head on.
Oh, bump.
Thank you. There is no doubt that love can make a person do spontaneous things, but for Sammy Kershaw, all it takes is a song about love to turn him impulsive. Christine Soldner explains how Sammy's newest single came about at the very last minute.
'Cause when you love someone.
Next time you see Sammy's music video for When You Love Someone, check out the camera shots, or really we should say shot.
That's right, no editing needed. The video is just one long, continuous shot.
Coming up.